If you're late identified autistic, chances are you learned the hard way that most people don't automatically understand you. Not your quirks, not your routines, not your joy. So you adapt. You shrink a little. You talk a little less to make things easier for them. And the worst part is, they still don't get you. This episode is about reclaiming your light and understanding the three parts of yourself that if you share those parts, it'll help you recognize that you're with your people. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast, the podcast for late identified autistic adults who want real relationships without fake masks. Let's talk connection, clarity, and showing up as your authentic self. Now, as I said, most people you meet just won't get you. They won't understand your quirks. They don't care about your hobbies, and they won't be curious about your life. And some people will even insist that you dim your light. Stop talking about those things that you like. And with enough pressure, you just might. I did. And I paid for it. For years, I kept wondering why connection felt so damn hard. Until I realized something that was almost embarrassing in its simplicity. It's because I stopped shining. I stopped sharing the real me. In fact, I did it so much that I had no idea who I was and what I liked. This experience lasted decades, and it was painful, confusing, frustrating. I was doing exactly what I thought they wanted me to do, but still, there was something off about me. Something that just made it difficult to connect, and I had no idea what it was. Frustrating. Maybe you've been there too. But eventually, my analytical brain broke down these three parts of myself that I found that if I ever shrink them, I know that I'm in the wrong place. And I found these out with many experiences and experiments. These parts of myself that I hid from other people to fit in were my history, my hobbies, and my habits. And I've found that if you hide these, people really don't know you. And if they don't know you, they're going to be afraid of you. They're going to be dismissive of you. They're going to make up all kinds of things about who you are based on their own life and their own experiences. So I found that it's up to me to set the record straight and to say who I am, say what I do, say what I like through my history, my hobbies, and my habits. Now let's walk through each one with some real world examples. Let's talk about the history first. Your history, it matters where you come from, okay? People who get you don't need to have the same background, but they really do need to care. They need to understand how you got to where you are today. What are your beliefs that brought you here? What are your experiences that shaped your reality? When you share this with others, you tell them about who you are. Look, let's say you tell someone you grew up moving around a lot, or that childhood friendships were a hit or miss, or that your parents were divorced and you had to move between houses to accommodate a custody agreement, or that maybe you grew up in a single parent household, or maybe you grew up really poor. Maybe you grew up with a lot of money. These experiences are going to shape who you are and how you show up. They're going to influence how you talk. Your history is super important. And so sharing a little bit of that with others is going to give you really good information about how they understand you, what they might be thinking of you. So if they dismiss it with a joke or if they change the subject, that's good information for you to know that perhaps they just can't understand. Even further, if they dismiss it, they're not curious or interested in knowing what shaped you. Next, let's talk about your hobbies. Your hobbies are these activities that bring you joy. They're the things that light you up. And if you ever have to hide the things that you love, it is a warning sign. Let's say that you're into Legos. Legos, Legos, Legos. You have been collecting for many decades. You have a basement full of Legos that you've put together and they're on display. You know the history of the company and you know which special kits are going to come out and when they're going to come out, and you're an avid collector and it is your big thing. It's your one big joy. And you meet someone who says, "Oh, I'm not into Legos. Nah, that's kid stuff. It's not really interesting to me. I never want to hear about that stuff." And every time you might try to bring it up, they're dismissive or they're saying, "Oh, you do that? Man, can't you do something better with your money or your time?" And then if you choose to stay close to that kind of person or that person who dismisses your one big joy, you're going to have to hide all of that. But Legos permeates your life. This joyful hobby that you have is everywhere. It shows up all in your life through your finances, your time, your energy, your brain power, because you're looking up different box sets and you're planning to go to Legoland. It's really important to you. And I'm saying that the moment you think that I have to hide this because I like this person, it's going to be very difficult. That's not your person. Your person will celebrate your joy with you. The people who are close to you will celebrate these kind of things. And I would say here, even if they do not understand it, if they're not a big Lego collector themselves, but they cheer you on, that's a great sign. That's a great sign. And finally, your habits. Your habits are your routines that keep you grounded. Your habits, they can be things that you do every day. They can be things you do every week. They can be things you do every month or maybe once a year, but they are yours. And you do them for a reason that's specific to you. Maybe you have a cup of coffee every morning because you love it. Maybe you go for a walk every morning because you love it, or you go to the gym because you love it, or you have a habit of not putting the dishes away until like a whole week after they're done. A whole week after they're done, and they just sit there and you eat takeout. And part of your habit is that you order takeout instead because you hate washing dishes or whatever the thing is. But look at your daily routines, look at your weekly routines, look at your monthly routines and see, well, what is it that I do? And you want to be able to talk about those things because that informs your daily life. I want to make it a little more tangible with an example. Like, let's say that you had a job that asked you to work 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, not including traffic because you have to go into work. And you meet somebody who only works 4 hours a day. They do part-time and so forth. And it seems like they have tons of free time. The habit, the routine, the ritual is different for them. It's going to look different for them. And when you get together to try to connect with each other, it's going to be really frustrating for either of you if you feel drained and exhausted by work because you have to go into work and you have to do all this and do all that. And you don't have as much time to meet. And they have a lot more time and they want to meet with you. They want to talk to you, but you just don't have the capacity for it. There's going to be a mismatch right there. Unless you both understand, you come to this understanding that, okay, I just don't have time for this. So someone else is going to fill in the blanks or gaps for that person who only works 4 hours while you get some rest. And maybe because you're so drained, you can only see them every couple of weeks or talk to them every couple of weeks. If you hide that and try really hard to show up for them, you are going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You have to talk to them about it. You have to share that. Another quick example about habits is your spending habits. If you are a person, let's say you met somebody who's super cool, you like them a lot, they're fun, they're interesting, and they think the same of you, but you are a super saver. And so you spend all your time and energy trying to figure out how to make money work for you, while they, on the other hand, are a super spender. And they want to spend all of the time. And every time you meet, every time they suggest something, it's costly. And you look at it and you're like, yeah, I make enough money to go for this thing, but your habit is to save it. And so you would have a struggle there. If you hide this, if you pretend that it doesn't exist, that you don't want to save money because you want to look good, you want to be fun, you want to be exciting, you're going to get frustrated because your real goal and desire is to follow your habits, save that money, while they just want to spend, spend, spend. And if you both can't talk about it and come to some kind of agreement about it, you're going to be frustrated with each other because they're going to see you as no fun. They're going to keep trying to pull, and push. And you're going to be like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Or you're going to do it and you're going to be resentful. Conversation needs to be had. Do not hide those things. So here's the pattern. Here's how it works all together. When you hide your history, your hobbies, or your habits, you create a version of yourself that can't sustain real connection because the history, hobbies, and habits are who you are. Your history is your past. Your hobbies are your current state, the things that bring you joy today. And your habits are the things that you do that build your future. Okay, now what could we do? Because it's important to be able to share these things, but it's difficult to think of them off the top of your head. So what I recommend that you do is spend some time figuring out what these things are for you. What is important for you to share with other people that they can really get to know you? And I always recommend that you start off with something joyful. There's something joyful in your history. There's something joyful in your hobbies. There's something joyful in your habits, right? These are things that you do for fun. You want to start off on a happy note, a joyful note. Because you don't want to, if you trauma dump on people, if you share, woe is me, my history was so terrible, I don't have any hobbies, and I don't really know what I do on a day-to-day basis, time just goes by, then they're going to have a challenge to figure out how to connect with you. Where's the connection piece? And I've thought of this for myself and how long it took me to figure out how to do this and be intentional about doing this when I meet with people. So I created Structured Social Hour. Structured Social Hour. It's one of the events that I have. This happens on the last Sunday of the month where we go through this process. I help you walk. I walk everybody. So we get on the call. It's a Zoom call. We get on the Zoom call and we walk through the process together. So everybody figures out what their history, hobbies, and habits are. I explain a little more in detail about how to get to those for yourself. And then you go into breakout rooms and you talk to other people. And the idea is that when you find some overlap with people with the history, hobbies, and habits, then you're going to want to talk to them even more because there's already something there, right? So if you're interested in joining this, we have a blast every time. It's always a lot of fun because, well, I'm fun and you guys are fun and we have fun together. That's just how it works, So it's the last Sunday of the month. Every Sunday, last Sunday of the month at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find the link at patternsofpossibility.com/events. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/events. Register. It's absolutely free, no cost. Learn this skill, meet some really cool people, and, just have some fun. So there's my invitation to you to practice it. If you're feeling kind of alone, you don't know how to do it, you're not sure when it's appropriate, this will be the place for you. All right, now let's talk about rejection because I know that frightens me. It frightened me a whole lot because I had struggled with talking to people and it seemed like all of my life people were like, no, that's stupid. I don't want to talk about that. I don't get it. What are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense. Go away with your stupid nonsense. And when I feel the tinge of rejection from people today or after those incidents have happened, I hear all that stuff return back to me, and the feeling of rejection is super intense because it has piled on and piled on. The feeling of rejection has piled on and piled on, and just one little hint of it, all that stuff comes flooding back. And it might be like that for you too. And so it took serious work to shift that mindset. And it wasn't even something that I could do inside of my head. I really had to go out and be intentional about having these experiences with other people and really feeling and facing rejection to see if I would be okay. Because all of that stuff that has happened in the past has really happened in the past. And today, conditions are different. I'm able to do a little more. I'm able to not be in a situation where I have to be ridiculed. I can just get up and move. Like physically, I can get up and move. I don't have to be in a classroom. I don't have to be in a workplace. I don't have to. So I can do a little bit of tests. I can meet people, have conversations, share a little bit about me, shine my light just a little bit, and share something that was joyful and interesting to me and see how they respond. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, that hurts, but also that's really good information to know that if I try to hide that from you, I'm going to cause myself a lot of pain because I really, 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 really want to talk about it. I really, really want to talk about my Legos. And you don't. And so would I rather, a question that comes up, would I rather talk to people who are interested in me or not? What have I done before in the past? How has it worked out for me? It left me lonely because I had to hide and not really be known. And then I was ostracized anyway. And the question then becomes, do I want to do that again with you? This person I'm talking to right now who doesn't like my Legos. He doesn't care about them or how I feel about them. That's a really great indication of what our relationship will be like. I will hide again so that you'll stay around, but you'll still dismiss me. So let's face that rejection up front and save myself some time. Let me save myself some time and energy and disconnect. The last thing I'll say about this is that when you reframe rejection as you making a decision not to be with a person or spend time and energy with people who are not interested in you, it feels less like rejection and more like you have made a decision not to be here. And that's where all of your power comes from. Remember to share your history, hobbies, and habits, and those will be the 3 things that will help you identify your people. All right, let's wrap this up. If you've heard something today that has helped you see yourself in relationships a little differently, then I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can leave a comment here, or you can reach me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe, it really helps more people find these conversations and join our growing community. And speaking of community, if you're looking for a space where you can express yourself and be met with curiosity rather than rejection as a late diagnosed autistic adult, then come visit thepatternsofpossibility.com and find your community there. Learn more about what we're doing. We're connecting with others. You can be yourself and authenticity in this space. Find other people who've had your experiences, who know what you're going through, so you don't have to do this alone. Until next time, take care of your energy. And remember that connection starts when you allow yourself to be seen.